Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Inside Lowell podcast. I am your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you from the WellPoint Studios here in downtown Lowell. WellPoint is the only health plan offering healthcare benefits to Massachusetts GIC members exclusively. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. And we thank our friends at WellPoint for helping to make this podcast possible and all of our Inside Lowell podcasts, along with the rest of our podcast sponsors. You'll see their logos scrolling across your screen as you watch this. Of course, the Washington Savings Bank, make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Find your perfect space with TMI. Boston North Company, business solutions for restaurant and retail. Mahoney Oil, providing warmth and protection to Greater Lowell since 1925. Francis E. Preventure Insurance, the agency Greater Lowell has counted on for over 41 years. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City. Season tickets for their 2025 season are on sale as we speak. And with that, let me welcome in my guests for this podcast. A couple of guys involved with, well, a local film festival, but also an interesting documentary on a historic figure in many ways here in the city of Lowell, Lowell's first Cambodian mayor, Sokhary Chau. We'll do left to right on our screen right now. Daniel Gibson is joining us. He's been doing some public relations and strategic advising for the festival. Daniel, how are you, sir?
I am great. Teddy, thanks for having us here. It's our pleasure to be here, and it's our pleasure to help Lowell move up and put attention on very talented folks such as those involved in the film festival and the documentary. And boy, was Mayor Chau something. Not first Cambodian mayor in Lowell, as you said, first Cambodian mayor in the country.
All over the United States, correct.
Awesome.
And you're right. I mean, and you're kind of, I was kind of surprised at your involvement in this, but I shouldn't be, because you're involved in a number of things. Most people kind of know you as that's the guy from Sahel.
That's right. Sahel is, I've been with those guys for 5 years. I've been in the entertainment hospitality business since '82, and I just love everything about Lowell. I love your family's restaurant. I love what you're doing here, and young people like David, who are the future of this terrific city. But let us not forget about Mayor Chau, because he was a special person. David told me yesterday, and you may confirm this, we go around saying we are the second largest Cambodian population in the country, Long Beach #1. Did you not tell me we're #1 now?
By percentage, yes. Yeah.
There we go.
There
All right. Enough out of him.
That's enough. I'm going to be
The
quiet.
real interesting guy is this guy right here.
Oh, no.
David Wanderi, who was joining us here in the studios. David, good morning to you as well.
Good morning to you.
Before we talk about the documentary that you just completed, and it's actually making its world premiere tomorrow. We're filming this on Thursday, September 12th, but it's making its debut, its first screening at this Dare to Imagine Film Festival tomorrow night, Friday the 13th. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Your family came here from Kenya?
My family came here from Kenya in 1996. My mom first with her friends. Very immigrant story. They came here, they didn't know much, but they had the American dream. My father came along with my little sister, and then I was the first kid born here, Lowell General, Massachusetts, at Lowell Hospital. And the car, though, this is a funny story. Like, my first car that I've ever driven in, they thought it was a cool idea to rent a limousine. So basically, right out of the hospital, they took like this little kid in a limousine, and then they drove us to our Centerville apartments in like the middle of Lowell. And yeah, that's just my backstory, my parents, where they came from, and the type of ambition they had when they got here.
Yeah, and like most immigrant stories, and myself being the first one in my family born here, I experienced they probably pushed the heck out of you to go get an education and to make a better life for yourself and the family. And you chose to do that at UMass Dartmouth, you said?
Yes, I graduated from UMass Dartmouth in 2021, and I was an English major.
Yeah, so writing was your thing. So how the heck did you end up doing film and documentaries?
I've always loved film since I was a young child. My favorite movie as a kid growing up was The Dark Knight. Everybody loved Ledger's performance, but for me, I was wondering, well, how was this made? Who was the director? I became a really big fan of Christopher Nolan and just a writer. And throughout college and high school and middle school, would make sketch comedies. And I was just writing and acting from a very young age. And my parents were actually supportive of my creativity. They weren't trying to discourage me in anything I was doing. However, I still had to get an education. So going to college, I would have loved to do film, but my school didn't offer that. So I did the closest thing possible, which was writing. And while I was writing, it gave me the tools to write every day. And now I'm just learning how to apply that to filmmaking.
Yeah, you know, I was just going to ask, writing is a different skill, but folks who've never been involved in documentaries probably don't understand that. I mean, writing is about putting a story together, telling that story in the best possible way, most entertaining, most informative way, which is the same thing a documentary is.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you choose the subject? How did you...
So my role with this documentary is more of a producer towards the end of it. I'm not the director or the creator. However, when they came to me with this idea, I was like, I want to be a part of this, and I want to help you guys put this information out. So one of the lead producers of the movie, Hunter Barubi, he's just brought me upon the team and everything, shown me the movie, the vision behind it, and especially because it's about a unique story that is the first United States Cambodian mayor ever. I was like, this is something I want to be a part of, and I want to look back on and say, like, wow, we made the right decision partnering with these people.
And Hunter is actually, he does a young podfessionals podcast, as we call it here at InsideLowell, so very familiar with him. Who are the other theys that you mentioned who are involved with this?
There's a lot of people. That's the thing. I know the DPs are from Russia, actually. They are Russian immigrants. We also love the story and partnered with Hunter. And a lot of the crew, I think, was assembled from his Suffolk University team that he's been making films with as well.
Okay. I'm told that somebody of note from Los Angeles is actually coming out for the festival, right?
Yes. So for the film festival, we have a bunch of other amazing guests. Jeff Kahn is the person you're mentioning, and he's a writer who's had over a 30-year career in Hollywood. He came up with Ben Stiller, was the co-creator of the Ben Stiller Show in the 90s. He's been in Tropic Thunder. He's been in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and he's going to have a live Q&A at the film festival on Saturday the 14th. His time is at 6:45, and actually I'm going to be hosting it too, so that's another cool thing.
So this is kind of a big deal.
It is, yeah.
Right?
It is, yeah. I think for the city, it's important that a lot of people get access to these people who do it. For me, I'm a filmmaker who's coming up, and it's respectable, but now that I'm able to bring in people who have had careers for a long time, this could help other young people in Lowell have dreams and ambitions and see that, oh, wow, this person is here. That means I could do it.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about the film festival and get everybody the specifics, including where it is. But let's talk a little bit about the documentary. You have a flyer here, and it's called Mayor of Lowell, Celebrating his Lowell Culture Through the First Cambodian U.S. Mayor. Now, we'd like to think we know the Sokhary Chau story, that we follow him a lot. We've interviewed him a number of times, followed his political career, talked to him here at InsideLowell. I talked to him for years when I was doing radio. What is this documentary going to teach us about Sokhary that most Lowellians may not know?
I think we're going to see the man behind the mayor. You know, titles are one thing, but now we could see him as a person. And it's not just going to be the Cambodian community. It's going to be all of the community of Lowell. And the great part, too, it's not just about the mayor. It's about other Cambodian Americans and what his position as mayor meant to them and their journeys in the United States.
How much access did you get to the man behind the politics?
So the crew and the director and the producers, they were with him. They were following him over at events. They were with different Cambodian artists and creatives all over the city. Like, they had full access to the mayor, and he was amazing for that.
All right, so you've now answered a question I had, because throughout his term as mayor, any big event, and there were a lot of them, there were a lot of important events with, United States politicians coming here, Senators Warren, et cetera, whatnot. There was always somebody holding a video camera there. And I'm like, what is he doing with this? Because I never saw this stuff. You'd see some snippets on social media, but I'm like, that's not, you don't need a professional camera for that. So you just answered one of my questions.
I'm happy to.
Yeah. So did they follow him around for his entire term as mayor, the full 2 years?
I am not sure of that, because I did come in at the latter end of the film. So what I do know is what we have filmed, and they have followed him a lot, but I don't think it was at the beginning. I'm pretty sure the production started last year, well into this year. So that's probably the time frame.
How long is the documentary?
So for the early screening, we're looking at, this is a short film, so we're looking at 5 minutes right now. Okay. But for the extended screening, they're still building. Like, they filmed a lot. Like you said, they were with him at a lot of different places. So there's going to be another premiere with an extended cut later on, probably next year.
Okay. How many other films are there part of this film festival? And are they different forms, short, long form?
Teddy, if I can just sneak in, and you're going to answer their question, but tell them he's done a terrific. David's the brainchild of a TV web show called Low Life.
Oh yeah, we're getting to that too.
But go, how many films do we have?
There's a lot of films. I know in terms of runtime, it's over 6 to 8 hours for the whole weekend. So if you're coming, you are coming to watch movies for the entire weekend. It's a mix of movies and live Q&As from industry professionals.
Okay, so we mentioned it starts on Friday night, the
Friday the 13th, yeah.
Saturday as well.
Yep.
It's
Saturday,
actually
14th.
4 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah, it starts at 4. So Friday's time is from 4 to 9:30, and then the reception is at the Sahil restaurant, which they've been amazing with us, partnered with us to give us the space and have a great reception area. Saturday it starts at 12 and it ends around 9:30 as well. And
9.5 hours. That's well, you have a lot of screen time.
A lot of screen time.
Where is it being held?
At the Richard and Nancy Donahue Center, the Middlesex.
Stunning place.
Awesome facility. Yeah, I
awesome.
actually went to see a locally produced show there last winter, and it was it's a great facility there. They're very
And don't
fortunate
forget
to
the
have it.
food.
Oh yeah, the food. It is by an amazing Jamaican chef, and he's catering the whole entire thing. So it's gonna be great.
Jason Gentili, Teddy, you're in the food business. I'm in the food business. It's a different flavor. He was the first chef at Sahel. He's gone on to run Millipore's Food Services and big things, but he's blessing us by coming back to town from Kingston, Jamaica to do this event, which was going to be great.
So you could build this as an international.
I mean, it is an international.
I've heard about how many years now?
This is our second year.
Second year. I remember hearing about it, the buzz, a little bit last year, but I didn't realize how big it was. So Daniel mentioned you have an idea for a TV series about this city that you were born and raised in.
I do. With a friend in 2020, while I was still in college and writing, we had an idea for a web series. And then it never really just came about until 3 years later. And for his birthday, I'm like, let's shoot a teaser. Why not? Let's shoot a teaser, see what happens. And while we're shooting that teaser, that is actually how I met the writer Jeff Kahn from Los Angeles. And it was very coincidental, very lucky. And he's like, what are you guys doing? I told him what we're doing, and he was just an amazing person. He brought me to his house, showed me his Emmys, and then I showed him our idea. And he was, he has an Emmy. Yeah. I showed him the idea. He's like, I think this has potential to become a TV show. Let me show you how to write it properly. So over the past year and a half, we've just been meeting like twice a week for a couple hours and just writing. And we got to do a table read actually for an older draft. And we got the privilege to do it in front of Larry Charles, who was the director of Borat, the showrunner for Two Broke Girls, and a couple of other people who gave us some really good notes. And now we're going to rewrite the show again. And
Tell them what the storyline is.
So the storyline's about an aspirational artist, obviously. Aspirational artist from an immigrant family who wants to leave Lowell. That is the goal. His parents own a little African corner store where they sell things, and they just want him to get a job that's not art. Get a real job, get a real job.
Go to medical school, become a lawyer.
Anything, even a nurse.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I wouldn't have to work for a living.
Yeah. But this artist, he just has something in him that won't tell him no. Like he's too aspirational to listen to his parents. However, he's also not organized. And Lowell is a place I would describe it as you get what you want. And the friends that surround him aren't necessarily the greatest of influences. Some of them are in crime. Some of them are maybe in corporate America. They're all over the place, but nobody's really in art. Nobody's really a catalyst to help this artist leave the city. And the show really just follows him and overcoming that and really just becoming a man, because he still lives in his parents' house at like 25 years old. So it's like, all right, buddy, you got to grow up. If this is a dream, it's a dream. If it's going to be real, then you have to make it real.
And the name of it is Lowell.
The Lowell Life.
The Lowell Life. And that's a because you've got some bigwigs working here, and when you start to get other people involved, ideas, concepts change, and they may want something a little bit more universal. Although I'd argue,
I love that title.
More universal place than Lowell.
That's the thing. I mean, the advice we've been given by another writer whose name was Rick Cleveland. He's an Emmy Award-winning writer who wrote on The West Wing and 6 Feet Under. And the advice he gave us was, the ultra specific becomes universal. Don't try to reach everybody. Like, your story will attract other people, because even though we're immigrants or we're from a different place, someone's black or white, we all have a universal human experience. And that's what we're trying to show with the city and with the show that we're making.
All right, so let me see if I kind of wrap my head around this, because we're here to talk about the Mayor of Lowell documentary and the Dare to Imagine Film Festival. But this show idea, this web series idea you had, is now... You've got some bigwigs working on you with the thought that this is going to become a television
Potentially, that's
series.
the goal.
You've got Emmy Award winners working on this with you. I mean, did you imagine? did you imagine that was possible? I mean, how did that kind of transition happen?
Honestly, I'll tell you this. I'm a person of faith, and for me, like, I thought I had to leave to go to Los Angeles, and I did have an opportunity because I worked as a photographer a while ago, but I would have had to leave some friends behind who were helping me with a lot of my local projects, and I just felt in my spirit that it wasn't the right decision to do. So in staying in Lowell, I was like, well, we'll see what happens, and things just fell in place. I just kept on creating stories, writing the stories that I want to see, and then we started to meet the right people, and we have a long way to go. It's building blocks. It doesn't happen overnight, but we're going in the right direction.
Hey, well, I was just going to ask, how close are you? I mean, if this happens, are we talking about we'll see this pop up on some network lineup?
So right now, this is so early in pre-production, because right now we're in the pitch phase. So right now we're working and meeting managers and meeting agents, and the goal right now is just making a good script. Don't focus on selling the script. The script has to be amazing, because they're going to have to take a chance on young writers who haven't made anything. So right now it's just creating the best script possible, and then hopefully in a year, 2 or 3, you'll see a show materialize. But on the local end, web series wise, that's why we've made a shorter, condensed version that we will also be premiering at the Dare to Imagine Film Festival
on Saturday.
All right, so folks can get a little taste.
So folks can get a taste of the idea, and it's a comedy. So like, come in lighthearted. Don't say like this.
Do you want to mention the local actor who's in it?
Oh, we have a lot, but we have one of the owners of 𝙒𝙎 actually is
Emil.
Emil.
Is he play you?
No.
Who plays you? Do you play yourself?
For this version, no, I do not play myself. I was more of a showrunner, director, and producer on it. But we have an amazing actor. His name is 𝙒𝙚𝙡𝙡𝙡𝙡. He's a Liberian American young man who killed it. For his sidekick, the #2 actor, we have an amazing Cambodian woman. Her name is Anaya Vet, and she's amazing, phenomenal actor. And a lot of other people that we've partnered with to make the web series.
All right. If you had your pick on who's going to play you, because we're going to assume that this is going to make it to the big time, right? Who would play you in the series?
I would play me.
You'd play.
I'd play myself. Yeah, I'll play me. Yeah.
Hey, listen, a lot of folks have. Jerry Seinfeld made a hell of a lot of money off of doing that. Can I get a cameo at least?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just in one of the episodes. Let me.
He's getting up. He's going to be on Inside Lowell.
He's trying out pitches. I love it. All right. So one more time before we let you go, the Dare to Imagine Film Festival this coming weekend, Friday, September 13th, Saturday the 14th. What are the hours again?
So Friday it is from 4 to 11. The movies will play from 4 to 9:30, and then we have an amazing reception at 𝙒𝙎 after. Do not miss that. Saturday starts at 12, ends at 9:30, and we will have our final reception at 𝙒𝙎 as well. And Sunday starts from 3 to 7, and it's our recap day. So let's say you just want to binge a lot of movies, the best movies. You can come in on Sunday and just sit down for 3 to 4 hours and watch a lot of the films.
David, could you tell Teddy how worldwide these movies are? From Japan, from...
Movies are from everywhere. We've had submissions from Japan, a lot from Europe, Denmark, Sweden, Kenya, Sierra Leone, a lot of different places, and also a lot of local filmmakers as well. So people who are Massachusetts.
So they're sending their films from these countries, or are these immigrants in the area who are?
They're sending it from these countries, a lot of them.
And the panel judging, you haven't explained how there's a competition.
Yeah, so it works as every film festival works. Like you judge films, and certain films win for their category. So we're doing the same standard thing, and there's winners for each category. So for the horror, it's the best horror movie. For documentary, it's the best documentary movie. For comedy, it's the best comedy movie.
All right, and that's you're in the documentary series for the Mayor.
The Mayor is actually a special screening, so it's a whole event. So it's a live Q&A also with Phil Sisson from Middlesex Community College.
And Barack is helping too.
Yeah. Okay. So Friday night is something you don't want to miss. If you're a Lowell resident,
we want you to be there. VIP.
100%.
All right, I'll give it a shot. All right. Website set up where people
Yes,
can learn more
you
about the
could.
festival?
If you want to buy tickets, well, first of all, there's a QR code on these amazing flyers. But if you want to just buy tickets directly, you can go to our website, and it's imagine.com. But we spell it differently. It's IMAG, the number 9, NE.com. You go there, you will be able to purchase tickets for the festival.
And there is the creativity of the writer popping out in the web address. All right, David Wanderi, pleasure meeting you. Fascinating story. I have a hunch you and I are going to talk a lot more going forward. Yeah. And will you remember us when you end up in Hollywood or wherever?
Special thanks in the film, Teddy. Your name, my name.
I'm going to Hollywood, but I will always be in Lowell. I have family here. I have a house here. I'm never gonna.
You're always gonna be part of Lowell life.
Yeah. It's part of me. Yeah.
The kid from Pawtucketville will never forget.
Yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Daniel Gibson, thank you
Thank you, Teddy.
for helping to promote this. It sounds like a wonderful event, weekend-long event, and I'll try to get out there and check it out.
Awesome.
Especially Friday night's the night for me to get out there. So thank you very much, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teddy.
All right. Thank you to David and to Daniel, and thank all of you for joining us here as well on this latest Inside Lowell podcast. As we like to say, Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place. Till next time, stay safe, everybody.